It is real because my son was 4 or 5, and I got him his Buzz Lightyear bicycle, and I wanted to take him to the park so he could ride his bike. You know what I'm saying, and play at the park and stuff. Cause I never had him. He was always to my hip, you know. And one day he was right. He was in front of me. He was like a good distance in front of me riding his bike, and I'm walking behind him and stuff. And it's a church in the back of our apartment complex and stuff. And this car pulls up, and it was this heavy set guy with shades on and stuff. And he opens the door, but he saw me, right? And then he closed the door and he peeled off and stuff like that. I said, "Yo, what was that about?" You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Somebody gonna die tonight. You know what I mean? So we get to the park and stuff like that, and we chilling. He's having fun, and here comes this little Wayne little dude on a little bike. You know what I'm saying? And I know most of the people in the neighborhoods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these characters didn't fit in continuity of the environment that we were in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And so I said, man, if I would have just let him say, yeah, son, go ahead and do your thing, stuff like that, my son could have been gone, bro.
Yeah. Well, you know what, man? I remember hearing stories about child abductions when we were young, even coming up in East New York. I remember
yeah.
And for me, more recently, there was a job I had a couple of years ago when I was in the electric industry or in the power industry working. I worked with a young lady that she was from Mexico. And one day, we just, talking because we would always be the first ones into the office. And she told me one day, she said, she was living in Mexico City, and she was walking home from work one night. It was dark, so she was coming from her office job or whatever and walking home, and this van pulled up on her. Like two guys jumped out and grabbed her to try to throw her in the van, and she just did what she knew what to do, which was scream really loud, right, and just hysterically. And luckily that was enough to spook them away, and there was still some people out and about to raise their attention, as a result of her screaming. And they left her alone, jumped in the van, and peeled off. And she was like, at that point, she was like, that's when I realized I had to leave Mexico City, right? But yeah, man, this child abduction. I mean, it's not just child abduction, but these abduction cases are very real. And now what's becoming even more prevalent is you have adults or older children that are being abducted, particularly girls, and then they're being sold into sex trafficking. Y'all watched there's a new show. It was just the first season. And it's called Parish. It's with Giancarlo Esposito. It's on AMC, right?
No, I didn't see that yet.
Man, great freaking show, dude. Great freaking show. But
is that on Amazon? What is that on?
No, it's on AMC.
I don't have AMC. Damn.
But the show covers part of what's going on in New Orleans. Is what's being covered is the story of people being abducted and being sold into these sort of sex trafficking rings. It's a really good show, but yeah, man, the shit is serious, man, very serious. And I've always wondered too, like, you ever hear these stories and you see them just walking about randomly, and you see a picture of a young lady that's been missing, and she's been missing for the past 6 months, and they haven't found or recovered a body yet. And now, before we used to say, well, it's very unlikely. I mean, it's very likely that at this point she's met a demise. Unfortunately, she's been killed. They can't recover a body. But now that shit is not the case anymore, man. What is also worth considering in these cases is that these people are kidnapped, sold into sex trafficking, or they're pushed or transported or pushed to another country, and they're in sex trafficking.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, shit is real, dude.
So
it's crazy.
What I think? Go ahead, Mo. My bad.
You know what's crazy too? That between all these scandals and all this shit going down, the media's not talking about the white dude, DJ, from the East Coast that
Yeah, I heard
gave
about
over
that. Yeah,
700 women AIDS,
black women, right?
black women AIDS. They not talking about that serial killer from New York, Long Island, because he tied into a lot of shit because my homegirl niece, a young lady from the start that I happen to be fond of, watching her grow up, she just had a bad life, so she was out there at a young age. Her father was locked up, always in jail. He did like a lot of time. So I was too young to take in, so I just knew her aunt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, her aunt was teenagers growing up when she was a baby, but we watched her blossom. And then in her later years, she happened to be out there in the streets. I never got a hold of her, but I heard she was out there. And if I got a hold of her, I'd try to bring her back home. But she was one of the girls that got caught up by this white dude from Long Island. I heard you heard about him a couple months ago, right?
Hmm.
The white dude from Long
Yeah,
Island.
I didn't hear about him. Yeah.
Nah, it's a white serial killer from New York. They found out, and these murders happened 15, 10, some odd years ago. And they caught him
Wow.
for a numerous amount. Hush, quiet. They not talking about it. It's nowhere on the media. The media know what the fuck they doing. They trying to make niggas to cover the evil that the fucking shit that other these motherfuckers is doing. And they need to
I'm
fucking
standing
stop
on that
talking
super predator
blasphemy.
shit. Hillary
They need
Clinton.
to
You know
stop
what
the
I mean?
blasphemy for niggas start getting serious. Like niggas need to wake up and stop playing with the media. Like 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 these social medias and these accounts and these they just business and corporations that could be like NWA step to.
Yeah, but even with the social media, like women need to be careful because they be posting all these cute pictures and everything like that, and that's just a directory to say who we gonna get.
That's
I'm over
that's
here and
true.
such and such. You know what I'm saying? Let me add my location and everything like that, and
Yep.
I'm out here at BW3. Okay, well she at BW3. Let's get her.
Yep.
You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, she got a
Yeah.
body. She look like, you know what I'm saying? Like she look like she what's in it. Or she could be just innocent. Like I think a white virgin is worth a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Instead of
In
white.
this dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And y'all gotta be careful, man. Like they already got the different type of clothes that sexualize you, you know what I'm saying? Get your red lips, you know what I mean? And you're doing all this and you don't know that people are literally watching you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
That's
they're
a
just
fact.
waiting, they're just waiting for you to be by yourself. And they got this, like I said before, they got this chemical called devil's breath. Whereas, if you take a whiff of it, you're under somebody's control. You
Yeah.
know, they can
Yeah.
say, "Yo, walk with me right there." So as we looking outside, looking in, and we thinking that they a couple, and this person is actually trafficking,
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
kidnapped.
Yeah.
You
And
know what
that
I
What
mean?
is
and
it
that
called?
person.
It's called devil's breath. It's out of Colombia. It's a seed from a flower that gets chemicalized and becomes this agent that either if you touch it or you whiff it and stuff like that, or you taste it, or it's porous, so it goes through your pores, and then you be under it. Once you're under the comatose, it takes like 3 days, and from them 3 days, depending on what happens, you won't remember the 3 days or anything that you've done. So
Yeah.
like you could like literally rob your they could literally you could wake up at a part like one guy an example I remember explaining this before. One guy he went to a strip club and next thing you know it he woke up in the park. And when he went home, his whole crib was gone. You know what I'm saying? All his items were gone and everything like that. So he went downstairs because he had security. Like, yo, what happened, man? My crib got robbed and stuff. He said, "What are you talking about? We saw you take all your clothes. We thought you were moving." And in the
Wow.
videos were showing him and these two women actually assisting all of his stuff out the house and stuff like that. And he has no recollection of what happened. So like
That's
they
crazy.
like you got so women, y'all got to be careful. Like when people walking up to you and they're giving you cards, it might have that on that. If you see a card on your on your door, you know, be aware of that too. Look
Yeah.
around, do a 360 look.